This is the Mind Power Hour with your host, Dr. Roger Duncan, the founder of the Self-Realization Institute of Now.
Well, good evening, and welcome one more time to your Mind Power Hour. My name is Roger Duncan, and I am the founder of SHRIN. That's the acronym for the Self-Realization Institute of Now. No other window, no other way than for you to learn how it is through and by your thought processes wherein you create every moment of your reality. I am a 38-year second generation disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. He was a Hindu sage, came from India to the United States in 1920, and he founded the Self-Realization Fellowship. Self-Realization Institute of Now. I'm not affiliated with it in any way now. I want you to know that. I am just one of his second generation disciples, meaning I never met him in the flesh. Because when he entered Mahasamadhi, which is a master's final conscious exit from the physical body, I was 14 years old. Here's a photograph of him when he was around about 25. They call me the Thought Guru. And that's a title that was bestowed upon me by my listeners some many years ago. Like most people, from the day of my birth up until the age of 28. I'm not saying that most people are like this, but I will say that most people are totally not aware of how it is their thought processes that create every moment of their reality. I've always been aware of my thought, far back as I can remember. However, I was not aware that my thoughts created every moment of my reality. I did not discover that most mind-boggling truth until I was 28 years old and had relocated to Los Angeles, California. And it wasn't too long afterwards wherein I became a member of Self-Realization Fellowship. And around about that same time, I came across a book entitled 3 Magic Words. More than likely it is out of print, but at a place like Amazon.com, you could probably still get a copy of it. 3 Magic Words by, I believe the author's name is Roy Anderson. Could be Leroy Anderson, but I know the last name is Anderson, and he wrote several books on the powers of the mind. But the first book, 3 Magic Words, when I read it, the concepts I found hard to digest. What? You mean me, Roger, is responsible for having created all of the circumstances in my life, all of what I considered good, and all of what I considered not so good? I found that a hard truth to accept, and most people today won't accept that. However, I began to studiously watch my thoughts, become very observant of my thought processes. And I became very observant of how, after watching what went on in my physical world, which was directly related to my own self, that as I thought, later on, that thought would be enacted. Something as simple as getting a glass of water, going to the market, driving my car, doing whatever. I began to connect the dots. And I began to chip away at that mountain at that time. And I began to realize that it was only my thoughts, through by my imagination, that caused me to do whatever I did. And I gradually came to the understanding that it was also through and by my thinking and my emotionalizing over those thoughts that drew every circumstance that happened to me into my life. All of the good and all of the not so good. And that's what this Mind Power program is all about. Getting you to understand how it is you and you alone who create every moment of your reality through and by your thought processes. And more than likely, you have never been taught that. It is certainly not taught in elementary schools. It's not taught in junior high, middle high, senior high schools. It's not taught in the universities, in the colleges, and it definitely isn't taught in churches. You are the creator of your reality. Now, before we go any further, with that long introduction, I will give my prayer that I always give in all my gatherings. You can feel free to join me. You can feel free not to. It says, Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus the Christ, Bhagavan Krishna Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Messiah, Swami Sumiteshwar, Guru Paramhansa Yogananda, saints and sages of all religions, I humbly bow to all of you. And I really do. And now without any further ado, I will give the address of Self-Realization Fellowship. Self-Realization Fellowship, 3880 San Rafael Avenue, Los Angeles, California. Zip code is 90065. Give you a few moments to copy down that address. Self-Realization Fellowship, 3880 San Rafael Avenue, Los Angeles, California, and the zip code is 90065. Celebrate for the lessons. Practice all the precepts and begin to really understand that you are more than what you believe you are. You are more than what you have been taught to believe you are. Because more than likely you believe 100% that you are a physical being. And that's just about the end of it. I mean, you know you think, but you are not aware that it is your thoughts that create all your reality. Because you've been thinking ever since the day you were born, and you take your thoughts for granted. But your thoughts are the most creative aspect about you. And that's my task as a thought guru, to get you, at least one of you, to begin to understand that. Now I will get